Everybody is there.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. But Olga ma'am didn't join, sir. No reply
Yeah,
from
well,
her.
please check with her and ask her, help her. I think Patricia also helping her. Anyway, she will join soon. You can start, doctor.
Okay.
We
Thank
can summarize a little bit, okay? We don't need 2.5 hours. Maybe you can summarize for 1.5 hour. So
Yeah.
video, we can send them in the link, or next time we can show them the video, okay?
Yes.
We can summarize that because Dasha will be getting late. And
Oh no,
others,
it's okay actually.
it's okay, you won't sleep. No problem, then it's fine.
No, it's okay.
Okay, carry on, doctor.
It's fine.
Let's not waste
Okay.
time.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, no problem. Carry on.
Okay. Everyone able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll start sharing my screen. Can you see the screen here?
No.
No. Not yet.
No, ma'am.
It will come, it will
Yeah.
come. It will take
Yes, ma'am.
time.
Yes, it's okay.
Okay, great. Carry on.
Okay.
Good. Good luck.
Yeah. So today's topic it's diet prescribed for kapha. So of course we shall go a little bit into revising what kapha is and what we have learnt about kapha. So the kapha or the shleshma, it is defined from the term ke shirasi kena jaleneva palati iti kapha, that which is produced in the shiras and nourished by water. Here K means in water. Here when they are saying shirasi kena jalenaiva palati iti kapha, which is produced in the shiras and nourished by water, they are referring to the cerebral fluids. So kapha is having one derivation from this. The other one, it is derived from shlish alingane, that which is responsible for integrity and attachment. Alingana means embracing or to stick to each other. So here shleshma, it is derived from shlish alingane, which means it is responsible for attachment. And then another derivation, eschalishya vapuhu sarvada prineti soyam kapha, that which being present in the living body nourishes it forever. So kapha is the main dosha which nourishes the body. Then the Pancha Mahabhuta relation with the kapha, it is predominant in Prithvi Mahabhuta and Jala Mahabhuta. The placement in the body, it is predominantly above the hridaya, above the heart. The special place is the chest. Of course, the vital organs, the heart and the lungs are present in the chest. And of course, kapha, it supports these vital organs, and also the fluids surrounding these organs, they act as the shock absorbent. The other places of kapha are kantha, throat, shira, head, parva, joints, rasadhatu, lymph, medodhatu, adipose tissue, grana, nose, rasana, tongue. Next, predominance of kapha and its effect, it brings about uttama prakriti, the best type of prakriti. The koshta is madhyama, the digestive system, it's of moderate quality. And agni is manda, little low compared to the other types of people. And if at all it causes digestive disorder, it causes amajirna. And then the relationship between the kapha and the time. According to the age, kapha is predominant in childhood. So children are more prone to diseases of kapha. And it is also predominant in the early part of the morning and the early part of the evening. That is in the morning 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock and evening 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock. Here we have to remember that it is helping the body to sustain throughout the day as well as all the other functions during the evening period. As I said, situating in the chest region, it acts as shock absorbent for the vital organs. The same thing happens for even the other mechanisms or the activities of the body. In the morning, it prepares the body for the whole day's working activities. And in the evening, again, after 10 o'clock, the other activities, like when we go to the bed, yesterday I was discussing that the mental activities also carry on. Even though the body is asleep, the mind is not at rest. So it starts segregating everything after 10 o'clock in the evening. For all those things, the body start preparing. So the early part of the morning and the early part of the evening is the time of kapha. And when we consider the time of the digestion, it is the early part of the digestion. The digestion first starts in the mouth and then carries on into the stomach. And in this part of the digestion, first part of the digestion, the mucilaginous matter is formed. The food what we chew and mixed with the saliva, a little part of the digestion will be complete in the mouth itself. Carbohydrates is digested to some extent, and then when it enters the stomach, it is converted into a mucilaginous ball. Mucus is secreted a lot. This is the step where the natural kapha is nourished. That's why the time of the digestion, it is the early part of the digestion, the kapha is predominant. Then coming to the seasons, again we have this Rutu Kriya Kala. According to the seasons, the doshas, they undergo changes. The Sanchaya Kala or the accumulation period is the Hemanta Rutu. It is the winter season. Prakopa, that is the aggravation, is the Vasanta Rutu, the spring season. And Prashamana, coming back to the normal level, is the Grishma Rutu. It is the summer season. So we can have a chart of these doshas undergoing Sanchaya, Prakopa and Prashamana. They overlap each other. So according to this natural cycle, we have to manage our diet and other activities. And then coming to the qualities of the kapha, it is Snigdha, oily, Shita, cold, Guru, heavy, Slakshna, smooth, Mrutsna, tender, Sthira, stable, Manda, dull, Pichila, slimy. If you just consider all these qualities, the animal which comes to our mind is elephant. So if you imagine an elephant, how it walks, how it does its activities, all these things can be found with respect to the quality of kapha. So the same qualities, it can be found in kapha prakriti people. And then coming to the relationship between the 6 tastes and the kapha. The controlling rasas are Katu, Tikta and Kashaya. Katu is pungent, Tikta is bitter, Kashaya is astringent. These 3 tastes, they make the kapha come down. Whereas Madhura rasa, the sweet taste, Amla rasa, sour taste, Lavana rasa, the salt, these 3 rasas, they aggravate or increase the kapha. Then normal function of the kapha, it is Sthairya, giving sturdity, Sneha, moisture, Sandhibandhana, compactness of the joints, Vrishata, vitality, Kshama, forgiveness, Dhi, intelligence, Vala, strength, Alaulya, it is the absence of greed, or it causes satisfaction. We might have observed whenever we are happy, we are very, very generous, we are very forgiving. All these are brought about by the kapha. Then kapha vriddhi lakshanas. So what happens if kapha, it goes out of balance? It has become more in quantity and quality. Agnimandya, it is low digestive fire. Praseka, excessive salivation. Alasya, lethargy. Gaurava, feeling of heaviness. Shvaitya, pallor. It is derived from the term Shveta. Shveta is white. Of course, our skin cannot be white. We can say it as paler. Shaitya, feeling of coldness. Shlatangatva, feeling of extreme debility. So the person feels very tired. Shwasa, that is dyspnea, breathing disorder. There is difficulty in the breathing pattern. Kasa, cough. Atinidra, excessive sleep. So this is what happens even though we are very much healthy, but we go to a function and have a heavy meal. At that time, we feel all these lakshanas. Of course, we might not feel the pallor, but still we will be having somewhat very much tired and excessive sleep we will be feeling. Then the kapha kshaya lakshanas. What happens when kapha gets low, below its normal level? Brahma, delusion or dizziness. Shunyatva, emptiness of the organs of kapha. Hridrava, tremors of the heart, that is palpitation. Shlata sandhita, looseness of the joints. Of course, our body becomes dry. Then how to manage kapha? To manage kapha, again, yesterday we discussed about the same qualities bring about the increase in the doshas, and the opposite qualities, it does the opposite work. So, for management of kapha, if there is kapha vriddhi, then to bring it down, we have to give the food qualities having the opposite qualities of kapha. And if the kapha is low, below the normal level, then we have to give the food items having the qualities which increases kapha. And again, always food should be according to the seasons. So there are some fruits, vegetables, etc. which we can avoid, as well as which can be favorably given. So the fruits, we can avoid avocados, banana, coconut, fresh figs, grapefruit, melons, oranges, papaya, rhubarb, tamarind. Favorable ones are apple, apricot, berries, cherries, cranberries, dry figs, lemons, grapes. Here it is the sour grapes, pears, persimmon, pomegranate, strawberries. When we speak about this lemons, green grapes, pomegranate and strawberry, all these are slightly sour in taste. And then we have some vegetables. So we need to avoid cucumber, olives, potatoes, sweet pumpkin, squash, raw tomatoes, zucchini. Yesterday we discussed about cucumber, squash, etc. All these are having more of the cooling quality and pitta nourishing, pitta subsiding qualities. So they nourish the kapha. So it has to be avoided if kapha has increased. And favorable ones are asparagus, beets, bitter melon, broccoli, burdock root, cabbage, carrot, cauliflower, celery, cilantro, corn, eggplant, daikon radish, garlic, horseradish, kale, leafy greens, okra, all types of peppers, spinach, turnip, watercress, wheatgrass. Here we can see all these vegetables, they have more of the fibrous contents. And kapha prakriti people, they can sustain the roughages, the fibers containing, which is contained within the vegetables. Kapha prakriti people, they can digest it, or they can sustain it, I would say. Then we have the grains. Already we have discussed about the grains and also legumes in the earlier classes. So we can avoid cooked oats. Bread, here again it is the yeast which is not desirable. And also pasta, pancakes, rice, wheat. If at all the person really wants to have rice, then Raktashali, the red type, or the Shashtika type of shali can be used. The favorable ones are amaranth, barley, buckwheat, corn, couscous, millets, quinoa, rye, wheat bran. Here in Europe, many people they use rye, quinoa, and couscous, and also buckwheat a lot. And then we have the legumes. So we need to avoid kidney beans, soya beans, all forms, whether it is in the form of flour or in the form of like they have this soya milk, tofu, all these forms, all types of products, it has to be avoided. And also urad dal, it is very much nourishing, it has to be avoided. The favorable ones are aduki beans, that is the red mung beans, chickpeas, lobia, lentils, mung beans, and tur dal. Of course, for all Ayurvedic doctors, red lentils and mung beans are favorite among the legumes. Then dairy products, it is better to avoid butter, cheese, and yogurt in all forms. Favorable ones are goat's milk, buttermilk, and ghee. Of course, in Europe, I don't think goat's milk is available. But if at all the person is using the cow's milk, the organic cow's milk is better, and it is also preferable to add little water to it and then consume. While boiling, water has to be added. Or even this skimmed milk is available where the fat content is low. That can be used. And then we have the condiments. Avoid chocolate, gomashio, kelp, lime, mayonnaise, tammy, vinegar. Favorable ones are black pepper, chili pepper, coriander leaves, horseradish, lemon, mustard. And coming to the nuts and seeds, and even here oil also can be included because oil is extracted from these seeds. Avoid psyllium, almost all nuts. Favorable ones are chia seeds, flax seeds, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, and charol. Then spices. Excessive salt has to be avoided. Favorable ones are almost all spices like ajwain, that is carom seeds, cumin, caraway, asafoetida, basil, black pepper, mint, garlic, turmeric, cloves, anise, bay leaves, mustard, etc. Then coming to the beverages, avoid chocolate milk, coffee, iced tea, lemonade, orange juice, papaya juice, rice milk, soy milk, tomato juice. The favorable ones are spiced tea, carrot juice, cherry juice, cranberry juice, mango juice, pineapple juice, pomegranate juice. Again here, we are not supposed to add sugar to the juice. It has to be only the fruit, and also it is better to avoid the pre-prepared juices. It is better only to use the fresh juice. Then only it gives relief to the person. And also while speaking about the juice, I would say as a doctor, I don't prefer people taking the juice. It is better the person eats the fruit as such. And the person has to chew it very well and then swallow it. It gives a better result rather than drinking the juice. Because it is better not to bypass the natural system within us. When we chew the substance, saliva is secreted within the mouth. It is the first stage of the digestion, and as the saliva mixes with the food or the fruit, whatever we eat, the changes happen within the substance and it can be assimilated properly. But if we convert it into juice and we just drink it, this property of the saliva, it will be lost. As well as I think I had mentioned in my earlier class, some people taking the bottle gourd juice, they had a problem with the stomach disorder because they couldn't digest it. And then coming to the herbal teas, avoid licorice, marshmallow, red ginger, rosehip. The favorable ones are blackberry, chamomile, chicory, cinnamon, dandelion, ginger, hibiscus, lavender, lemongrass, peppermint, raspberry, strawberry, wintergreen, etc. So till now, is there any doubt? Hello?
No. No, thank you.
Okay, shall we continue with the discussion of separate topics as such how we did yesterday?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So we have this garlic. And I think in almost all of Europe, garlic is available. It is called as lashuna in Sanskrit or rasona. Here, if we look into the word rasona, the term itself says rasa una. Una is minus or there is missing. Rasa una, there is a missing in the rasa or the taste. So what is that it is missing? It is missing the amla rasa. It is having all the other 5 rasas except the all the other rasa is present except this amla rasa. So it is rasona. Rasa una. Una is not present or it is negativity. Rasa una. One rasa is missing. The Latin name is Allium sativum. Taste, all taste are there except the amla rasa. The effect on the body, it has heart potency and it balances kapha and vata. It is useful in treating worms, skin disorders, sciatica, fever, heart disorders, swelling, epilepsy, pain in the ear, etc. As such, many people in India, they don't use garlic because of its pungent that extreme smell, and also when we eat that garlic, even our breath, it smells like garlic. That strong smell, it is coming out of our breath. Even in the sweat it comes out, and it is having very hot potency, and some people they can't tolerate it. That's why they don't use garlic as such. But it is having lot of medicinal property. In my clinical practice, if at all a person complains of ear pain, and if it is the pain is because of excessive kapha, just placing one small slice of garlic inside the cotton and then putting into the ear, the pain gets subsided. We need not put the garlic inside the ear as such, but it has to be wrapped in the cotton and then put it into the ear so that it doesn't get into the inside part of the ear, but it will relieve the pain. And also in small children, usually when they get fever, usually the grandmothers, what they do, they take one piece of garlic and then they put it inside a cloth and then tie that cloth around the child's hand. So usually it makes the child come out of the fever. And because of its property of removing the infection, as well as it is having the germicidal effects, it can be used in treating the worms, both internally as well as externally. And also this garlic, it is observed that the snakes, they get repelled by the smell of this garlic. So if there are snakes in and around the place, they can use this garlic around the house so that the snake doesn't come inside the house. And then we have ginger, ardraka. Again the term ardra means wet. So ardraka, here we are speaking of fresh ginger. Of course, even the dried ginger also we make use of in our kitchen as well as for the medicines. But here we are speaking about the fresh ginger. The Latin name is Zingiber officinale. The taste is katurasa, very pungent taste. The effect on the body, again it is having hot potency, what we call as Ushnavirya. It balances kapha and vata. It is a very good digestive and carminative. We Ayurveda people, we speak about Deepana and Pachana. So when we say Deepana, it is Agni Deepana, increases the digestive fire. Pachana is it digests the ama pachana. So digestive and carminative. It increases the internal digestive fire and also it brings about the ama pachana or the digestion of the ama or processing of the ama. It is useful in urinary disorders, piles, diarrhea, swelling, ascites, pain in the ear, jaundice, rheumatoid arthritis, hiccup, filaria, that is elephantiasis, heart diseases, headache, etc. It is called Vishwabheshaja and Mahaushadha because it is having so much of medicinal properties. From the age of 2 years up to the death, the person can use it extensively as a medicine. Of course, below 2 years also we use it as medicine, but we have to be careful. And as such, in rheumatoid arthritis, the drug of choice, the best medicine prescribed is the Nagara Ghrita. That is the ghee which is processed with ginger. Ginger is also having the name Nagara. So that is the drug of choice. We usually use Nagara Ghrita for the person suffering from rheumatoid arthritis. We usually prescribe this Virechana therapy, and for that Virechana therapy, purgation therapy, first we have to give the oleation therapy. Snehana has to be done. So for that, Nagara Ghrita is taken as the best medicine. And then again, if the person is having pain in the ear, as I said, using the garlic, the same can be done with the ginger also. Just wrap it in a small cotton piece, a small piece of ginger, and then keep it in the ear. The pain goes off. Or even coconut oil can be heated with this ginger, and then when it cools down, still it is just slightly warm, that oil can be put into the ear, 1 or 2 drops. It will help with the ear pain. And also it can be used in all type of digestive disorders. If the person is having constipation, if the person is having diarrhea, dysentery, not in dysentery, sorry, in diarrhea. If the person is having diarrhea because of the indigestion, we can use ginger. And also if the person is having swelling, we can apply lepa on that portion where the swelling is there, the swelling comes down. And I have used this ginger in rhinitis. When the person is having cold, the person can have the ginger. And also there are so many medicines prepared using this ginger. And one of the medicines which I myself have prepared and used is when the person is having congestion in the sinuses, when the person is having cold and the person is having congestion and pain in the sinuses, near the nasal sinuses, I have just applied the paste of this ginger, made it into hot, and then applied on the forehead and the temple areas, and also besides the nose on the sinus area. Within a short period, the congestion, it gets cured, or the congestion, it comes down. And of course it is having so many medicinal properties. The time is insufficient actually. because of all those medicinal properties, it is called Vishwa Bheshaja. Vishwa is universal. Bheshaja is medicine, universal medicine. And Mahaushadha. Maha means great. Aushadha is medicine. It is a great medicine, or it can cover a large number of disorders. Then we have Haridra, turmeric. And of course, in India, turmeric, it is extensively used. In almost all the cooking items, turmeric is used. Haridra, the name itself says, Haridra means yellow color. The turmeric is yellow color in appearance. And also this yellow color, it is not just plain yellow, it is somewhat golden yellow. And also energetically it is seen, this turmeric contains lot of gold color energy, which is very much capable of healing the system. The Latin name is Curcuma longa. The taste is Tikta Katu Kashaya Rasa. That is bitter taste, Tikta, Katu, pungent, Kashaya is astringent. The effect on the body, it is having heart potency, Ushnavirya, and it balances Kapha and Vata. It is useful in diabetes, skin disorders, excessive thirst, filaria, that is elephantiasis, worms, snake bite, rhinitis, cosmetics, etc. In India, we use turmeric in almost every day in all forms of food as well as for the external application. Because of its Tikta Katu Kashaya Rasa and hot potency, it is having the property of clearing the wounds and healing the wounds very quickly. Usually the grandmothers and mothers in India, when they are cooking, if at all they are cutting the vegetables and they get cut, their fingers or something like that, they don't apply any band-aid. The best medicine is available in the kitchen. It is the turmeric powder. Immediately the blood flow stops. And also itching is there or any small wounds are there. Immediately the application of this turmeric, it brings down the itching and the irritation sensation in the wounds. And also not only in the snake bite, even in the bites of any worms, this turmeric can be used. Usually we use this turmeric along with honey. Just mix it very well and then apply it to the place where the worm has bitten. Especially if a honeybee has bitten, usually it leaves the sting where it has bitten the person. So until and unless that sting comes out, there will be heavy pain and also there will be a lot of burning sensation. So to remove that, if it is difficult, just applying this turmeric along with the honey, it helps in removing the sting out of that bitten place. And also in chronic rhinitis, we can use this. And especially if the person takes turmeric powder along with warm milk, it very much reduces the eosinophil contents in the blood. So if at all we are having any inflammation or infections, if we look into the blood, we go to the lab and investigate the blood, there the eosinophil counts would have risen. But the use of this turmeric, it brings down the eosinophil content in the blood. And also this turmeric is very much useful in diabetes. Along with this Indian gooseberry, there is one medicine called Nishamalaki. Nisha is again turmeric. It helps in the management of diabetes. And many people who just sleep in the afternoons. We Ayurveda doctors, we said Diva Swapna, that is sleeping in the daytime is not good for us. We have to avoid it. Many people, they don't care that they sleep in the afternoons or in the daytime, and again the eosinophil content in the body, it rises. It is called the tropical eosinophilia. The person will be having the puffy face and somewhat the person might be feeling lethargic, and also the person shows the symptoms having like a cold. This use of turmeric along with warm milk help them a lot to bring down the eosinophil content in the system. Then we have tvak, cinnamon. In Denmark here, I see cinnamon everywhere being used extensively in the bakeries, in the sweet preparation. I think in whole of Europe, cinnamon is used extensively. The name tvak, tvak means the skin. Of course, here we are using the bark of the tree. The Latin name of this plant is Cinnamomum xylanicum. We are using the bark of this plant. The taste is katu rasa, pungent, tikta rasa, bitter, and madhura rasa. It is sweet. Of course, this sweetness, it is not immediately felt when we put the cinnamon inside our mouth. It is the adjuvant rasa, or we call it as anurasa. The effect on the body is, it is having heart potency, Ushnavirya. It balances kapha and vata. It is useful in cough, rhinitis, tastelessness, thirst, indigestion, heart disorders, urinary disorders, etc. Again, the cinnamon is having that smell because of the volatile principle. Because of that volatile principle, the oil can be extracted from it. Of course, it will be very expensive to extract the oil, but because of the volatile principle, it can be used in rhinitis, in pain, in headaches, all this where there is congestion of the phlegm, there all we can use cinnamon. And most of the masalas in India, they contain this cinnamon. Then we have maricha, black pepper. This is also called as Dravidi because it is grown in Dravida Pradesha. This is extensively grown in the southern part of India, the Deccan Plateau. That's why it is also having the name Dravidi. Black pepper, maricha. The Latin name is Piper nigrum. Again, when we say nigrum, this represents black color. So we have so many plants having the botanical name, the second name as nigrum. So you can remember nigrum as the plant, whatever part we are using, it will be black in color. The taste is katu rasa and tikta rasa. Katu is pungent, tikta is bitter. Effect on the body. Again, it is having heart potency, Ushnavirya. It balances kapha and vata. It is digestive and carminative. Agni Deepaka Ama Pachaka. It increases the digestive fire and it helps in the digestion of the ama. It is useful in worms, itching, flatus, cough, hysteria, diarrhea, night blindness, insomnia, rhinitis, pain, skin disorders, etc. Again, this black pepper, it is extensively used in our medical field. There is one oil, Mahamarichadi Taila. There the main ingredient is the black pepper. Since it is helpful in removing the itching in skin disorders, we use it. And also in the worms, again internally as well as externally. Yes, is there any doubt?
No, it's okay. Thank you.
It's okay.
Because there on the Skype icon, something flashed over that. I thought someone had put some question or something like that. Is it becoming very heavy?
No, it's fine.
No. Dr. Vijay, it's only me.
Okay, okay.
Just you can go through the message I send you separately.
Okay, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Is it urgent to look into that message?
Yeah. I think you can see it. It doesn't need another computer.
No, it's
Okay,
just
take
a
your time.
minute.
Take your time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. If at all you are feeling this becoming very heavy, please let me know. If I can make it still more lighter, I will try to do it.
No, it's okay. Thank you very much.
But one thing what I would say as an Ayurvedic doctor, before we are doctors, we are human beings. We are all children of this universe. We are children of the earth, right? So we need to be more closer to Mother Earth, then it becomes easier for us to learn the things. For example, our sense organs. The eyes, it is having the main Mahabhuta, the Agni Mahabhuta. Of course, all the 5 Mahabhutas are there, but the predominance will be Agni. Like that, for touch, it is the Vayu Mahabhuta. For smell, it is the Prithvi Mahabhuta. And for the taste, it is the Apa Mahabhuta, the Jala Mahabhuta. So if we come more in contact with Mother Nature, then these qualities we start inculcating within our own self. Okay. So when we are preparing the medicines as such, without putting not only the medicine, even while cooking, without putting the substance into the mouth, just by the look into the preparation and the smell coming out of the preparation, we should be able to sense whether it is going on perfectly or not. We need to be more and more observant. So what I would suggest is, take at least some half an hour or 40 minutes a day and develop more and more contact with Mother Earth. It enhances our sensory system. And when we start connecting with Mother Earth, the qualities of the Mother Earth, it makes the connection with the plants and ourselves. So it becomes easier to learn the subject easily. As such, before even I entered into the Ayurvedic studies, I used to do some observations like that. And my sister, even today, she makes fun of me. You go and talk to each and every plant, so I don't come with you for the walking and all that. The same thing, it has to be applied if you want to learn the things. You just before cooking or when you are having the time, free time, you just go to the kitchen, take the items in your hand, start talking to that substance. It might look funny. People in the house, they may make fun of us. But once we start making a contact with that, it starts speaking to us. Of course, not in our language as such, but it gives lot of information to us. Yeah. Then we have Jeeraka, cumin. Jeeraka is also extensively used in our kitchen, as well as I have seen it being used here in Denmark extensively. The Latin name is Cuminum cyminum. So the taste is katurasa, it is pungent. Just putting it into the mouth, we can feel that it taste, it is not so nice, it is not so good. But it is having a lot of medicinal property. The effect on the body, it is having heart potency, Ushna Virya. It balances Kapha and Vata. Again, it is digestive carminative. Agni Deepaka Amapachaka. It is useful in indigestion, all types of digestive disorders like acidity, diarrhea, stomachache, vomiting, fever, all types of pains, worms, etc. We have a big list of medicines using this Jeeraka, Jeerakadi Churna, Jeerakadi Avaleha, and you can even prepare Jeera water at home and it can be used. Just to remember what we do in India, I will be making fun of people. Even in the wedding, in traditional families, they put jeera on the head of the boy and the girl. So I'll be making fun. This acts on vata and kapha. It brings down the BP. Of course, in marriage, it hits up. Persons, they fight. So to bring down the BP in the marriage starting itself, they are putting this jeera on the head. This is the best medicine to treat high BP. We can use this extensively in various disorders. And even for small children as such, if at all the child will be crying, many a times we don't know why the child cries. Maybe many a times the child will be having the gas collection in the tummy. The child, of course, if it is very small, can't say in our language, I am having stomach pain. But if we boil water along with jeera, cool it down, and then after this, slightly warm water, jeera water is given to the child, some half a spoon or 1 spoon, it will help to remove the gas out of the tummy. The child calms down. And all masalas in Indian food, it contains jeera. And also it increases the taste of the food. If a child is having difficulty for having food, the child doesn't like to have the food, says the child says the food is not tasty. Again, we can prepare a powder using jeera and then a little bit of salt, and then if at all if you have this carom seeds, all this just roast it and then make a powder, and then along with ghee, first morsel rice we can give the child, improves on the digestion, the child's appetite increases. Then we have sarshapa, mustard. Again, the name Brassica nigra. It is black in color. It is having the tikta rasa. It is bitter in taste. Effect on the body, it is heart potency. It is having heart potency, Ushna Virya. It balances the kapha and vata. It is useful in skin disorders, filaria, that is elephantiasis, epilepsy, teeth disorders, gout, etc. Usually in northern part of India, people make use of the mustard oil. In southern part of India, we don't use it because of its heart potency. Already the southern part of India is a tropical country, tropical region. It is already very, it is having hot weather conditions. So if we use mustard, it will not be good for us. But in the northern part of India, it is temperate land. There kapha is more. So there the people, they use mustard oil for cooking. And also they use this mustard oil even for external application. They take oil bath along with mustard oil. And I have used this mustard oil in pain in the ear. The mustard oil, it can be made little hot. Of course, the oil should never be heated directly. It has to be kept in a vessel and then heated through the hot water. And then one drop of mustard oil into the ear, it will help release the pain. And also in dental caries, early stages, if at all the person is having pain and dentist is not available right now, the person can apply this powder of this mustard and rub it on the teeth. The pain comes down. Of course, for teeth disorders, it is not the ultimate answer. The person has to get the teeth fixed with the dentist. And then we have basil, Vana tulasi. Again, the name it says, Vana means forest. We have many different species of tulasi, the holy basil, and this type of basil, of course, we don't do puja and prayers for this type of basil, but this type of basil, it is found in the forest. That's why it is given the name Vana tulasi. And all other types of basil, it is not found in the forest. Only this type of basil is found in the forest. That's why the name Vana tulasi. The Latin name is Ocimum basilicum. The taste, it is having tikta rasa, that is bitter taste, katu rasa, it is pungent. Effect on the body, again it is having heart potency, ushnavirya, balances vata and kapha. It is useful in the treatment of inflammation of eyes, tastelessness, helps in easy delivery of baby, worms, fever with chills, excessive sleep, swelling, etc. If a person is having swelling, we usually prepare a poultice and then apply that on the swelling region. We put the leaves in a cloth, tie it, and then the cloth with the leaves, it is dipped in hot water, and then according to the required temperature, that cloth is put on the swelling region. The swelling comes down. And of course, it increases the taste. That's why it is used as an adjunct in cooking. Especially after the cooking is complete, it is used for garnishing. And also in fever, we usually boil the leaves in water, and then that warm water is given to the person. Fever comes down. And then we have palak, spinach. First time I saw this palak on the TV in Popeye show. The Popeye, in that Popeye show, he is eating always spinach, and he gets so much of strength. The Latin name is Spinacia oleracea. It is having the madhura rasa, that is sweet taste. The effect on the body, it is cooling, balances pitta and kapha. It is also diuretic. It increases the function of the kidneys. It is useful in tastelessness, swelling, urinary disorder, anemia, thirst, difficulty in breathing, blood disorders. Usually we use this spinach extensively in anemia. If the person is having low blood count, taking spinach for a considerable period of time every day, the blood count improves. And again in swelling, as we did with the basil, we can use this poultice, or we can just grind it and apply it on the swelling area. Before applying, it has to be little bit heated and then applied on the swelling area. The swelling comes down. Then we have pudina. mint. There are different varieties of mint. Here, all these mint, whether it is peppermint, spearmint, all these have almost all the same qualities. This pudina, it is also called as putiha. Puti means bad smell. Ha harati. Puti harati iti putiha. It removes bad smell. So pudina, it is having the synonym putiha, which removes bad smell. The Latin name is Mentha sylvestris. The taste, it is having madhura rasa, sweet in taste. Effect on the body, it is having heart potency, ushna virya. It balances kapha and vata. Again, it is diuretic and strengthening. It increases the functioning of the kidneys. It is useful in improving digestion, hiccup, cough, vomiting, tastelessness, stomachache, fever, etc. If the person has eaten onion, uncooked onion, raw onion, or garlic or something like that, usually it leaves foul smell in the mouth. So the person can eat 1 or 2 leaves of pudina, and that smell, it can go off. Not only that, it can also be used to improve the digestion. In India, we use it to prepare chutney or the paste of this mint leaves, and we use it as a side dish. And as a medicine, it can be boiled in water and then taken to improve the digestion. Or if the person is having a cough, the person can make a paste of it, or the person can crush the leaves and then take the juice of that and adding little bit of honey. The person, if the person takes that mixture, the cough comes down. If the person doesn't want to take the medicine orally as such, the person can take this as a food, or if the person is having congestion and lot of phlegm is there, even the person can put these leaves in the boiling water and can take steam. So it helps in the problems of the respiratory system. And even for the stomach ache, many times because of the gas collection or because of the intestinal worms, children, they suffer from stomach ache. Or even with the indigestion, there may be stomach ache. In any type of stomach ache, using of this mint, it helps to relieve the pain. And in India, one medicine is very much available over the counter without any prescription, Pudinhara. If the person is having indigestion, the person can take that. And even the fever, especially if it is caused because of indigestion or because of the collection of a phlegm, then this use of pudina, it helps to bring down the fever. Then we have Vruntaka, eggplant. Latin name is Solanum melongena. Taste, it is Madhura rasa, sweet in taste. Effect on the body, it is having heart potency. It is having Ushna virya. It balances Kapha and Vata. It improves vitality. It can be used in increasing the digestive fire, piles, etc. As such, in our Indian classical texts, this Vruntaka is not considered a very good vegetable. But it can be used once in a while. And we should be careful. Sometimes this eggplant, it might cause allergies. If the person cannot sustain it, it might bring about itching in the body or the person might feel swelling because of the allergic reactions. And I myself has used this eggplant in treating the itching, and sometimes what happens because of some of the deficiencies, the person will be having itching in the hands and also the skin starts peeling off on the palm. So if the person is having that condition, we can use it like for cooking. We usually cut this brinjal and then put it into the water before cooking, so that if at all if it is not put into the water, it becomes black in color. So it will be put in the water, and then while preparing the food, it is directly taken out from the water and then put on the pan. The water which it is remaining in the vessel, in that water the person can wash the hands. So I have used it in my practice, and it helps that person to come out of that itching and peeling of the skin. Then we have carrot, Garjara. The Latin name is Daucus carota. Taste, it is having Madhura rasa, sweet taste, Kashaya rasa, that is astringent. The effect on the body, it is having hot potency, Ushnavirya. It balances Vata and Kapha. It is useful in swelling, piles, difficulty in breathing, diarrhea, amenorrhea, to improve eyesight, and also it is used in anemia. And this can also be used in the treatment of gout. But for using it in the treatment of gout, the central white portion of the carrot, it has to be removed. The person should not use it, only the outer portion it has to be given. And of course, the modern science, it has proved that it is having that vitamin A lot. That's why it helps in improving the eyesight. It is having that vitamin A as well as having the iron content, so it can be used in anemia. What we used to do in our clinic, we used to take this carrot, cut it into small pieces and put it into a jar along with honey. So it has to be left there. As yesterday I was telling about Gulkan, putting the rose petals in the crystal sugar and then mixing it and then leaving it in the sunlight for some time and then using it. In the same way, it has to be done with the honey. The carrot is made into small pieces and put into the honey, kept it for some days, and then the person having a low blood content is given for continuous 45 days. The person without any other medication, the person would get the blood count to the normal level within just use of the 45 days. And then it can also be used in the treatment of amenorrhea. Many a times because of the hormonal imbalance, stress, young ladies, they have the menstrual disorders. They can't get the periods on time. Usually in that case, we make use of the seeds of carrot. We just make it into powder and then give it with either hot water or with honey. It brings about the proper hormonal balance and the lady gets her periods regularly. And then we have this mulaka, radish. The name is Raphanus sativus. It is having katurasa. It is very pungent. Effect on the body, hot potency, Ushnavirya. It balances all the three doshas. It is useful in cough, piles, swelling, digestive disorders, urticaria. This seeds of radish, it can be used like the seeds of carrot in treating of amenorrhea. And this radish, it is having a lot of fibrous content. So many a times people complaining of constipation, if radish can be used as the food item, it helps them relieve the constipation. Main reason for the piles to happen is the constipation. If you relieve it, most of the time the person need not undergo the painful condition. So this can be used in treating that constipation as well as piles. And even not only the root, even the whole plant can be used as food. Then we have Kajuta, cashew nut. Latin name is Anacardium occidentale. Taste, it is having Madhura rasa, sweet in taste. So effect on the body, it is having hot potency, Ushna virya. It balances Vata and Kapha. It is digestive, it promotes digestion, and it is nourishing. It nurtures the body very well. It is useful in hair fall, piles, worms, wounds, etc. As such, in South India, I have seen how this cashew nut is taken out. If you just look into the tree, we have this cashew fruit, and at the base of the fruit, this nut will be there. And it is having very strong quality, and if it is as such taken out, the acidic reaction happens, the skin gets burnt. It has to be done very carefully, and that seed, it is removed and put into a furnace, roasted, and then it is used for preparation of sweets and all. But if at all without that precautionary measure, if it is used, it burns up the skin. Many small children, they just get onto the tree and then they get burnt, because without processing, they just try to eat it. The acid which is present within it, it burns the skin. Because of the acidic reaction, it can be used on worms. So if the person is having wound and it is then with carefulness, it can be used to remove the worms and then to heal the wounds. And then favorite Nimbuka, it is the lemon. We use a lot of this lemon in our food preparation, as well as to prepare what we call as panaka, juice. The Latin name is Citrus acida. The taste, it is having amla rasa, sour taste, katu rasa. It is pungent. Of course, the inner pulp, it doesn't have that much of katu rasa, but the outer peel is having katu rasa. Effect on the body, it is having hot potency. It balances Vata and Kapha. It is useful in cosmetics, acidity, measles, pain in the ears, worms, thirst, tiredness, piles, cough, vomiting, anemia, blood disorders, etc. Again, it can be extensively used. In cosmetics, it is having a property. It's a really wonderful property of the lemon. If it falls on lighter color objects, it makes the object lighter. If it falls on the darker color objects, it makes the object darker. For example, if we use the lemon juice on our hair,